What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and today we're revisiting a subreddit that may not have been requested, but I really loved it the first time I went through it. It's r/am I the asshole. Our first post for the day comes from Soup Dragon. AITA for banning my dad from eating my food. I'm going to preface the inciting incident by saying I have diagnosis of celiac disease and lactose intolerance, so I have to get specific foods and drinks because of these things. One thing in particular I'm very precious about is lactose-free cheese, which costs about twice as much as regular cheese. Yesterday, I noticed that a small block of cheese I'd purchased a few days ago was nearly finished, and I hadn't eaten any of it, so I asked my parents about it. My dad said that he'd wanted a cheese sandwich for his lunch, but there had been no bread or cheese other than mine, so he made himself a sandwich using my food. He didn't feel like going to the shop to get more cheese or bread. The nearest shop is about 3 minutes away from our house, but their range of free-from food is very limited, so I don't shop there often. But my parents can get there and back with no real problems, and they have a good selection of bread and other fresh produce. Now, I pay my share for groceries, and I buy the free-from foods from my dietary requirements myself, because they're a fair bit more expensive than the regular types. I reminded my dad of this when we were talking about the food, and I told him it's not really fair for him to be eating my food when there's a shop down the road where he can get the food that he is able to eat, or when there's a bunch of other foodstuffs in the house that he can eat no problem. I was really surprised when he blew up and shouted at me about being so picky about my food. It was there and there was plenty left, so why shouldn't he be able to have some? I told him straight up that he was no longer allowed to eat my food unless he wanted to pay extra for it, and he told me I was being petty and childish. This morning he texted and asked me if I was going to apologize to him, but I said no. I have nothing to apologize for, but this is really bugging me, and I'm worried I've been unnecessarily rude. Ah yes, Dad, I'm being picky by not letting you eat the food that I bought, that any other food that I eat could actually kinda kill me. Yeah, I'm the asshole here, Dad. Our next post comes from, well, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. AITA for telling my girlfriend that not everyone feels the way she feels. My girlfriend has been telling me that the things I say to her come off bad, and that I need to speak my mind less and be a little bit more respectful. I was telling her the other day about how my friend wants kids within the next 2 years, and she goes, "It is crazy to think some people older than us, like him, are having kids, since I still feel like a kid myself." I then go, "Not everyone who is 22 feels like a kid." She got mad at me for this and asked why I feel the need to basically make her feel bad about what she thinks. She said I was basically invalidating her / saying something rude as a comeback. Our friend who says he wants kids is 30 years old, if that helps. I don't know. AITA? So I went through the comments of this post, and my god, people are stupid. No, he's not the asshole. There was nothing asshole-ish about what he said. He was just saying that, well, not everyone who is our age feels like that. Some of us are ready for kids. F off, people in the comments. Y'all are stupid. And I don't care if I get flack for this. I really don't. There's no point in trying to defend what she said. She was saying something that's very immature. Anyway, our next post comes from Shaleka. AITA for kicking out my stepmom over yet another comment about my hobbies. Little bit of preface. This woman and I don't get along. We both tried to get along. It didn't work out. I try to tolerate her, yet she doesn't seem to make any effort to keep the peace. I'm mute, and she insists that I'm antisocial and just need to try harder. I prefer wearing baggy clothes with long sleeves to hide burn scars. She insists I'm not feminine enough and should wear short sleeves and skirts. I like video games. She insists every game, including things like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, are bad for you. Every time we meet, she has something to say, and I try to ignore her for my dad's sake, but I could just strangle her. I came home 2 hours after having just bought the most adorable Mew plushie. I saw her car parked. Not too odd. Her and Dad regularly stop by in the area for the motorcycle garage. I go in, Mew in hand. Stepmom is there drinking coffee. I don't even get a greeting. The door isn't even closed before I can hear, "Aren't you too old for dolls?" Side note, she collects Disney stuff. Mickey Mouse plushies, which she bragged cost 3 times as much as my new €12 Mew. I ignored the comment, set Mew on her shelf, and got out of my sweaty clothes and freshened up a bit before coming back out to the living room. Still no greeting. Nope. What I get? At least it's not one of those games. I get out my book and pen and ask her to change the subject. Let's not go over this again. We both know it's only going to end with an argument. Reply, I'm just trying to help you. You should listen to me. No adult woman should be collecting toys. I pointed out her collection. Last I saw, you had 6 toys of your own. To which she defended herself. Those are Disney dolls. They're not like your video game crap. I decided to cut my losses at this point. I'm not going to argue over this. You finished your coffee, please leave. And I took her cup to go rinse it out. I was in the kitchen by the time I heard her try and raise her voice, but boyfriend, ever on top of things, herded her out the door for me. I got a text from her soon after, and a few more from her side of the family. Oh boy, mob mentality, yay, telling me I had been rude. Hers specifically demanding an apology or she'd never come visit again. I told her not to expect one and turned my phone off. I'll probably get a text from Dad tonight about it, of course with only her side of the details. I agree, I could have been more patient. After all, it's the same song and dance every time. I try to stay neutral/friendly, and she jumps on everything she perceives as a slight or mistake. And then she acts the victim when I, or anyone else, disagree. I've had it with her and her, I'm doing this for your own good nonsense, and part of me really wants to finalize the thing by texting her and telling her she's banned from my house. OP, if you ever watch this, please have texted her and told her that she is banned from your house. She is doing you no good and there is no reason for her to be in your life. Thank you. Our next post comes from Sharky and George. AITA if I told my wife her vegetarianism is starting to annoy me? I've been with my wife for 12 years, but 6 months ago, she decided to become a vegetarian, and I totally support this. She is doing it because she didn't want to be a part of the factory farming industry. Again, I totally support this. However, her recent behavior has really started to annoy me, and tonight, I told her so. I do all the shopping and the cooking, and have went to great lengths to accommodate her new diet. However, I feel she has started to get weird about it. Tonight, I cooked 2 separate pies, and when she served herself, she stopped and asked me if the serving spoon had been used on my meat pie, because if it did, she didn't want to use it. Now at this point, my pie crust was unbroken. The only thing the spoon could have possibly touched was the pastry crust, but she didn't want to use the spoon if it had even touched that. Cue me telling her this was annoying and us fighting. She still wears leather shoes, a leather handbag, eats dairy and seafood. Bringing this up did not help. AITA. Update. We had a chat this morning. I apologize for bringing up the leather and dairy stuff, as several of you pointed out this was not relevant to the conversation and was me just trying to win. And she apologized over being overly fussy. We talked about it maybe being a control issue and that it was something we should both think about and talk over. Thanks for the input. I appreciate several points that were brought up. Ah yes, the holier-than-thou God complex that comes with veganism and vegetarianism. Seriously guys, you're no more morally superior than I am because you eat plants. That's not how this works. Our next post comes from Poopycock96. AITA for putting in a noise complaint about my neighbors with kids. Moved in a few weeks ago, and the couple in the apartment upstairs has 2 young kids. I don't mind everyday noises like walking, door shutting, and talking. They're kind of unavoidable. However, those kids will not shut up. 6 a.m. they'll be having a tantrum every single day without fail. And when I say tantrum, I mean full-on screaming, blood-curdling and high-pitched, things being thrown, stomping, door slamming. This will last for hours. The record has been a tantrum that lasted from 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. The parents won't do a single thing about it. Every now and then, I'll hear their voices, but believe me when I say it, it takes a good 40 minutes before they even pipe up. The kids will have tantrum like this that last hours, at least 3 times every single day. Not only that, but when they walk and run upstairs, the thumping is obnoxiously loud. Basically, this is stressing me out to no end, to the point where my mental health is declining through lack of sleep and lack of peace and quiet. I'm so highly strung right now that whenever they even run upstairs, I feel like angry crying. However, I know they're just kids, but at the same time, even I know no normal, healthy kid should be that upset for such ridiculously long times and so frequently. I feel bad for putting a noise complaint in, especially as I'm wondering if those kids might just need a little more attention. Anyway, AITA? I don't believe that in any situation like that, you could be the asshole for filing a noise complaint on that. Trust me, I'm dealing with it right now. Our final post for the day comes from Flips39. AITA for being annoyed by my girlfriend's free time? My girlfriend and I have been living together for just over a year and dating for 3.5. She pays me a monthly rent to cover bills, about £330, and I pay the mortgage, about £600. I currently work 5 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and I make a good salary and quite enjoy some aspects of my work. But I come home and I'm usually pretty tired. A few months ago, my girlfriend decided that she wasn't satisfied with her current job, and it was unfulfilling and causing her stress. She decided to go back into education, which I fully supported. Currently, she is doing a pre-university 1-year college course, A-level equivalent, and will then be doing a further 3 years minimum at university. Obviously, as a student, she's now on a very tight budget and asked if I could reduce the rent. Additionally, when she goes to university next year, her student loans will only just cover rent and travel costs, leaving her nothing for living expenses, so she will obviously need further rent reductions from next year onwards. I've been encouraging her to get a part-time job as she's currently only in college 3 days a week, but she's been saying the homework/coursework assigned by the college is what she'll be doing on those days off. While she has been doing that, she is also finding a lot of free time to sleep in, engage in hobbies, and chat to friends. The days she is in college are also shorter than a normal workday. She thinks that trying to fit a part-time job 2 days a week will make her overloaded and stressed, and will therefore jeopardize her success in her college course. I'm trying to be supportive of her education, but I'm finding it increasingly frustrating that she has free time during the week whilst I am at work. To make this worse, having to support her more financially when it seems like she has free time to earn money is really frustrating me. This isn't because I can't afford it. If her course really did require 5 days a week of full-time work, I'd have no issue supporting her. But because she has the free time, it's hard for me to see her getting an easy ride. I get the impression my feelings are only going to get worse as time goes on, and obviously I don't want them to develop into real resentment. AITA for feeling this way? No, you're not the asshole, man. She's using you because she knows that you'll pay for it. You really need to have a talk with her about getting a part-time job. Hell, I'm in college right now, work a full-time job, and do this YouTube series. So, I'm pretty sure with her sleeping in till noon every single day, she has time for a part-time job. Anyway, my dashing dudes, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/Am I the Asshole? If you like the stories, I'll link them down in the description below. And if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe, drop a like, and a comment down below with what you'd like me to read next. A huge thank you to my patrons Connor and, again, I hope I'm getting this right, Rafaela. I really appreciate the support y'all are giving me. And to everyone who has subscribed in the past few months, thank you so much. It makes me feel so good that y'all are really enjoying my content. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.